Herb garden. The chia herb garden.
Deep space, a tiny spacecraft on a risky mission looking for signs of life on the surface of Mars. And tonight there are signs of possible trouble. Your money, the market's red hot on the best employment picture in decades. Murder mystery, the billionaire who ran a worldwide financial empire. Why was he killed? And the family tonight. He's the toy cop, the man who decides what is and what is not fit for child's play.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Substituting tonight, Brian Williams.
Good evening. So many hopes and dreams were riding on board a small spacecraft this afternoon as it approached its exact landing spot on Mars. There was so much excitement at the moment it was supposed to check in electronically from the surface of the planet to report everything was A-OK. But that never happened. And hearing nothing tonight from the surface of Mars, some fear the United States has lost a valuable spacecraft. Others say, be patient, it's nothing like trying to turn in a car radio. With the hopes and fears from NASA tonight, here's NBC's Robert Hager.
Not looking good tonight for the $165 million mission to Mars. The spacecraft, which successfully streaked 470 million miles through space, poised to land hours ago. But since then, nothing's been heard from it. Nothing. Deep space tracking stations worldwide looking desperately for a signal. Instead, hearing only silence. Earlier, trackers had followed the spacecraft to within 10 minutes of landing, even congratulating the team that got it that far.
Affirmative, it's a good delivery, guys.
Showing a photo of the spot where the latest calculations predicted it would land almost precisely on target. Playing again an animated version of what was supposed to be happening. Chute opening, retro rockets firing, kicking up Martian dust. But in the control room, waiting for confirmation.
The spacecraft should be resting on the surface of Mars.
But if that's so, there was no indication. None at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. None at Lockheed Martin in Colorado, co-managers of the project. None at UCLA, overseeing the mission's planned scientific work. And time passing.
We're about 3 minutes past the opening of the first opportunity to hear from the spacecraft.
By tonight, 3 minutes had become hours.
So what could have happened? Could have been jarred on landing and simply be trying to reset its own computers. Or could have landed on a hillside and be pointing its antenna in the wrong direction. Might be able to correct that itself. Or could be worse.
Mission director says he's disappointed, but will keep trying to make contact. He's Richard Cook.
We have opportunities on Sunday. We have opportunities Monday. It goes on for quite a while, and I think we would not, we don't plan on giving up anytime soon.
11 times over the years, Mars missions have been lost. $1 billion failure in 1993, and just 3 months ago, a $120 million orbiter lost. Could this be another? Astronomer for the U.S. Navy, Jeff Chester.
Well, something very catastrophic could have happened. I mean, any number of things could have happened. It's a very complicated business trying to land a spacecraft on the surface of another planet.
There's still hope 2 small probes released separately may be okay. May send back their own data later tonight, but that would be minimal. The main mission, to look for water on Mars, a building block of life, tonight could be a mission that's dead. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
There was news from Wall Street today. In addition, the combination of new numbers on unemployment holding steady at a historic 4.1%, plus no evident signs of inflation. Well, it all added up to send the stocks soaring. Dow was up over 247 points. NASDAQ up almost 68 to another record close. By the way, for the week, the Dow gained over 297. NASDAQ up almost 73 points in all. Now, with the U.S. economy in what they call best of times mode and the markets following right along, the question once again is how long can this possibly go on? Joining us now from Wall Street, NBC News chief financial correspondent Mike Jensen. Mike?
Brian, absolute exuberance here on Wall Street today. Wave after wave of buying and the 8th biggest point gain ever for the Dow. Today's big announcement on jobs sets off a frenzy of trading.
Going to battle stations.
Prices take off at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and at the New York Stock Exchange because of news that unemployment remains at the lowest level since the Vietnam War, and inflation is almost non-existent. The Dow soars to a record high, up 300 points before it falls back a bit. The Dow now up 23% since January. NASDAQ also surges, up an astonishing 63% since January. With this kind of booming economy, experts say if you want a job, you've probably got one. In fact, companies are fighting for people. Labor expert John Challenger.
There's a battle out there to find skilled workers, to get them on the job and keep them.
Now hiring even disabled workers like Paul Gussow, 61 years old, in the mailroom at a New York law firm.
Paula, how do you feel when they hand you that paycheck on Friday?
Wonderful. Make me proud of myself.
And it's not charity, it's necessity.
It was a business decision that was made by the firm.
Another sign of the booming economy, stores today full of shoppers.
What would you like?
Pokemon.
The fastest start to the holiday season in 6 years.
You know, it's been a good year, not just for me, but for a lot of people.
Retailers expect to take in $185 billion in their most important 2 months of the year. More evidence of the boom, housing. Word this week that sales of new homes are at an all-time high. This house in San Francisco went for $240,000 4 years ago. This fall it sold for $372,000. Realtor Tim Curran.
The real estate market in San Francisco has never been hotter. Surpasses the levels of the 1987 and 88 boom that we had. It's just off the charts right now.
12, 10, take it, 12, Tracy, 10.
This economy is a holiday gift for 274 million Americans. 8 years and 9 months of growth, about to enter the record books as the longest expansion in U.S. history. The amazing thing is that there's no end in sight to this economic boom. Experts say the stock market will have its ups and downs, but the economy will probably keep right on rolling into the new year. Brian?
Mike, there was some mention in yesterday's papers about a flattening in manufacturing and construction. Will people be looking at those, kind of inflating them because they're expecting some early signs?
Those are the two areas that have been declining a little bit, but it's more than made up, Brian, by the surge in jobs in the services sector. And on Wall Street, they're looking for maybe a 10% correction, but not necessarily before the end of the year, maybe sometime during the next 3 months.
Mike Jensen on Wall Street, where the news is still robust tonight, thanks. And still ahead this evening as we continue this Friday night, NBC News In Depth. More on space exploration. The next frontier, a manned mission to Mars.
I talk to kids and tell them that someone, somewhere in a classroom at their very age right now is going to be the first person on Mars.
Could it just be the next giant leap for mankind? Well, the experts say not a question of if, but when. And a murder mystery and intrigue in Monaco. One of the world's richest men is dead tonight, and the question, why?
Hey. This is for those ready to hit the road.
Hit the road. This is for a tough world.
This is for those looking for a solid experience.
This is excitement. Well built.
This is for right now. Right now.
Hit the road and get 2.9% APR financing or $500 cash back on any solid Grand Am. Or see your dealer for details on great lease offers.
This is for me.
For me. For me.
Hit the road for Pontiac driving excitement.
This is for me.
In this life, there's just no stopping. No break for a hacking cough, raw sore throat, fever. But there is TheraFlu. Fast, soothing hot liquid therapy. Maximum strength TheraFlu. Instant comfort. Powerful relief.
Apparently, some people don't know Dremel also makes cordless rotary tools. Dremel cordless rotary tools. For every problem, there's a Dremel solution.
A murder mystery to report to you tonight. The victim, an elusive billionaire banker. It's unfolding at a favorite playground of the rich and famous, Monaco. 2 masked men set a raging fire that killed one of the world's wealthiest men, Edmund Safra, raising a lot of questions like who was he, who wanted him dead, and why. Here with that, NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
One of the world's richest men, Edmund Safra, murdered in his luxury penthouse in Monaco. Police say 2 hooded intruders break in before dawn. Safra and his nurse lock themselves in a bathroom. The hitmen then firebomb the apartment. Safra and his nurse die. A professional job, say friends and observers, most likely by the Russian mob.
You also have people who, I guess, have old scores to settle. He did business in places like Russia. His bank lost a lot of money in Russia last year.
Who was this reclusive billionaire, and why would he be targeted by assassins? Friends describe Safra as a man obsessed by security. So camera-shy, there's no known video of him.
As a man, Mr. Safra was hard to get a read on. The basis of his business and of his life was privacy, the personal privacy, and he took that insanely seriously.
Lebanese-born from a wealthy Jewish banking family. In the 60s, he starts his own financial empire, Republic National Bank of New York. Forbes magazine calls him one of the world's 200 richest men. He wins and loses billions in Russia. Recently is forced to sell out, but not before tipping U.S. investigators to alleged money laundering by other U.S. banks. A congressional hearing 2 months ago into suspicious wire transfers of money.
Republic informed the FBI and other appropriate authorities about the wire transfer activity.
Safra was a private banker, which means he handled money for very wealthy people. Kept their secrets, by all accounts, was very reliable. The last person friends would expect to be assassinated.
Whoever it was has a long reach and is capable of organizing a daring, brutal, and vindictive maneuver.
Tonight, the FBI says it has no authority to investigate. Monaco police are questioning Safra's bodyguard, who for some reason was not on duty. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
We have just learned this evening that veteran comic actress Madeline Kahn has died tonight here in New York. She had been battling ovarian cancer for the past year. She was nominated for an Academy Award for the movie Paper Moon back in 1973. Madeline Kahn was 57 years old. Up next as we continue, NBC News In Depth, man's greatest adventure ever, a trip to Mars and back. When would it happen? How much would it cost? We have some answers for you coming up.
The world doesn't stop for the flu, but you do. Did you know there's something you can do for the coughing, fever, chills, the body aches that can make you miserable for weeks? Your doctor could prescribe a pill that attacks the flu virus itself, not just the symptoms. As soon as flu symptoms start, call your doctor for information about prescription pills with the power to beat the flu faster, so you can feel better faster.
There are those among us with very simple tastes. They only want the best. And for them, there's Fancy Feast gourmet cat food. Exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
So what will happen to all this now that you're going virtual?
We're not going virtual.
Well, I read you're getting into internet trading, online cash management.
Well, we are, yes.
The end of an era.
Not at all. Online trading and the rest of it are simply new tools we're making available.
You don't have to sugarcoat it for me, but I must tell you, I'm going to miss our little chats.
Nelson, I'm not going away. The office isn't going away.
The coffee? The ticker?
Not going away.
What about the little bull?
Not going away.
Good.
I am the scum buster. I make scum and mildew problems disappear. I make grease and dirt problems go away. If you got a messy situation, believe me, no one's got to know. I'm the scum buster. I am built by Black & Decker.
Buying a car will never be the same, because now you can check out any car you want and see how it stacks up to the competition whenever it's convenient for you. With our website, even when the showroom is closed, we're still open. GMBuyPower.com.
Sunday, In Depth with GOP contender John McCain. Plus, Jesse Ventura on the race for president and the new book on Hillary. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
It's like today, only later. Later today, weekdays on NBC.
NBC News In Depth tonight. More on space travel. Will people really be taking trips to other planets? Today's Mars lander mission is a good example of just how tough it is to land on the red planet. But the fact is, there's already been a lot of planning for a manned mission to Mars someday. It does seem hard to imagine. Mars is 500 times farther away from the Earth than the Moon. But as NBC News chief science correspondent Robert Bazell tells us tonight, scientists say it can and will happen.
Even if today's landing failed, many think America should still work toward putting people on Mars as humanity's greatest adventure.
This is the next phase of human evolution as we reach out to look for evidence of life that may have existed elsewhere in the solar system.
The cost? At least $50 billion by many estimates. Great dangers, including radiation from the sun, far stronger than anything humans have encountered before in space travel. Technological challenges, like finding a source of fuel for the return trip. Engineers now designing robotic manufacturing plants that would be sent ahead of the astronauts to make fuel from the Martian atmosphere. Dr. Deva Newman of MIT.
So then we would send humans on a second mission, and their fuel to get home would be waiting for them.
But the biggest challenge of all, the trip would take no less than 3 years, probably 4, with 4 or 6 astronauts living the entire time in an area no bigger than a small house trailer.
I guess the toughest thing is that you're just away from friends and family. It's an isolated environment.
In 1995, Norm Thagard spent 115 days with 2 Russians on Mir, the Russian space station. But he had an escape rocket attached to his ship the entire time. Long-term isolation can be dangerous. Take the case of Jerry Nielsen, the physician stranded until October with breast cancer in the South Pole Research Station. On a Mars trip, it would be far worse.
If something happens on the way out, you've got no choice but to wait and come back on the return trip.
Wait for up to 4 years. The group would almost certainly include men and women. What about the social dynamics over 4 years?
Well, social dangers, social pleasures. I think there's a right way to do that. Some people can get along quite well, and potentially you send couples or married folks. I think a diverse crowd there's power in diversity.
Opportunities for a trip to Mars come up in the years 2011, 2014, and 2018. That's when the planets will be aligned to allow for the shortest possible travel time. Mars will only be about 35 million miles away. Will the trip happen? Veteran space travel Norm Thagard certainly thinks so.
I like to go out when I talk to kids and tell them that someone, somewhere in a classroom at their very age right now is going to be the first person on Mars.
Many say putting that person there is still within our reach, but today's difficulties only highlight the challenge. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
Now, aside from the practical questions about a manned trip to Mars, there are, of course, the more philosophical arguments about why space exploration is important. Here's NASA's Dr. Ed Wheeler on the mission to Mars in his own words.
Americans should care about going to Mars and doing exploration in general. The reason we're still not drawing paintings in caves is because humans are explorers. Exploration is what makes humans human. We moved out, we colonized, we crossed oceans. Now we're moving into space. We challenge anybody to go out at night on a very clear night, out in the mountains someplace or the desert, look up at the sky and ask themselves the question, is all this for us? It's a very lonely thought. Ground-based astronomers have found planets around other stars. If there are other planets around other stars and there are hundreds of billions of stars, how can we be the only planet with life in this entire universe? Until we find that first microbe, that first bacterium on Mars, people who want to say we're the only life in the universe are right. We've got to prove they're wrong. But I think the universe is teeming with life. Can I prove it? No. We're taking a small step today in that search for life. Perhaps in my son and daughter's lifetime, we will detect the first evidence of life. If not on Mars, perhaps on the moon of Jupiter, or with our larger telescopes in the future, on a planet around another star. But I think it's inevitable.
NASA's Ed Wheeler tonight in his own words. And still ahead as we continue, the family. 18,000 new toys on the shelves this holiday season. How do we know what's okay for kids?
Oh, Mom, it's great. My first apartment. You should see it. It's huge.
When you've got things to talk about, it's a good idea to dial 10-10-321 first.
And I had a great view of the river.
With 10-10-321, you get 50% off calls over 10 minutes. That's just 8 cents a minute, day or night, and no monthly fees. And then 50% off. You can share every last detail.
And I even have a garden.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
The Spot Lifter is Bissell's Wash It Down, Lift It Up, Get On With Your Life, cordless deep cleaner. Life's messy. Clean it up.
Will you look at that? They changed the Camry.
Introducing the newly updated Camry.
I like it.
Every year, LensCrafters runs Gift of Sight missions to bring sight to needy people around the world.
We change lives with these glasses.
And the more we collect, the more people we can help.
Please bring us your used glasses today.
Good boy, Simon.
When your dog is the star of a syndicated comic strip, you get lots of fan mail. Okay, Simon gets most of it. When we ran the strip where Simon snubs his food, people sent all kinds of dog food. I read the labels, and in every bag of Purina One brand beef and rice formula, beef is the #1 ingredient. In lots of designer dog foods, it's corn. So I let Simon try Purina One. I'd say it went over pretty well. Purina One, second to none.
New tonight at 6, more water woes for Portland. As the city taps into its backup reserve, experts look for long-term alternatives. Find out what this means for you tonight at 6 on Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first. Meteorologist Matt Sapino, weeknights on News Channel 8.
We have a story tonight about true grit, and this is one truly for the record books. At age 36, Tori Murden of Kentucky has become the first American and the first woman to row all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. It took her 82 days to cover 3,000 miles in a specially designed boat, arriving this morning in Guadeloupe in the Caribbean. Along the way, she encountered storms, killer waves, and sometimes, she admits, sheer despair, but never gave up and made it today. Russia's bloody war at home now. What could be a turning point tonight in the crisis? The Russian army now saying it has surrounded the capital of Chechnya in its war on the rebels. The battle for control of that city is going to be fierce. NBC's Dana Lewis has our report from Moscow.
Russian soldiers appear to be on the verge of a final assault. After days of sustained pounding with artillery and heavy bombs, today Russian tanks roll in to occupy a rebel stronghold just 3 miles from Grozny. The Chechen capital eerily empty. Civilians have fled or moved underground, now forced to live by candlelight. It's all building to a final battle for Grozny. Thousands of heavily armed Islamic militants are reportedly dug in, defended by rings of landmines. Russian generals have waged this war for 8 weeks and now say it could take at least 3 more months to defeat the rebels.
I think the easy days, the heady days are over. When the Chechen rebels decide to take a stand and to fight, the consequences can be very bloody.
As Russian troops close in, casualties on both sides are rising. Rebels are no longer in retreat. They've apparently drawn a line, fighting now house to house. This soldier says there's no denying the fighting suddenly more intense. More people are dying. A Russian promise to allow civilians safe passage out of the city has not materialized. These wounded say they were targeted by Russian soldiers as they tried to leave in a civilian convoy.
They shot us at point-blank range. Peaceful people. They shot up the bus. Everything was on fire.
And again tonight, Russians have sealed the border. There is no way out of Chechnya. Civilians trying to flee the fighting have nowhere to go. Trapped in Russia's war against its breakaway province. Dana Lewis, NBC News, Moscow.
Right back with our look at the family.
Who would you like to call?
Frank?
The Samsung digital wireless phone featuring internet access and voice-activated dialing. Flip the phone, shout the name, and Samsung dials the number. Samsung Digital. Everyone's invited.
Enterprise? Hi, my car's out of commission, so I'm out of commission.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Shannon Sharp has always talking trash.
You're paying, baby!
He's always trying to get inside your head.
Seahorn, you don't know your elbows from your...
And sometimes, he can get downright nasty.
I bet you pay transaction fees on your mutual funds. Your mama pays full commission. You know how to calculate a PE ratio?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
How diversified is your portfolio?
we created a smarter kind of investor.
You can't even spell Dow Jones. Okay, guys, let's get this right. To calculate a PE ratio, you divide the stock price.
Dr. Scholl's next stop, San Francisco.
Let's talk about feast.
I do have corn.
I've tried Band-Aids.
They don't get rid of the corn.
This is Dr. Scholl's Cushland Gel Corn Removers. The Cushland Gel relieves the pain.
The medicated disc removes the corn.
It just feels so much better.
Well, my work here is done.
The GMC Convoy 2000 is here. Trucks with capabilities that will change the way you look at the road. Professional-grade pickups, SUVs, and family vans. Designed better than they need to be. Like the incredibly smooth-riding 2000 GMC Jimmy, an SUV with a full-length steel frame, its backbone. Now get $2,000 cash back when you purchase select 2000 Jimmy models. GMC. Do one thing, do it well.
Monday on Later Today. Should parents let young boys and girls have co-ed sleepovers? We'll find out what the experts have to say on the next Later Today. It's like today, only later.
This weekend on National Geographic Explore, snakes as pets, then the wreck of the Yorktown from the man who found the Titanic. Explore Saturdays and Sundays on CNBC.
If you're like most Americans, your weekend plans will include some form of holiday shopping, and if kids are involved, that means toys, and that, of course, always leads to the questions, are they safe? Luckily, there's somebody in Washington whose job it is to make sure they are. Here's NBC's Bob Faw.
Tucked away in a sprawling federal laboratory, outfitted with the tools of his trade, is the Consumer Product Safety Commission's counterpart to, well, to James Bond's Q.
Fully loaded, I think is the term.
At what was a Nike test base near Washington, D.C., though, Bob Hundermer is on a different mission.
I'm the toy policeman.
Policing toys by dropping them, and not just once or twice, also pinching their paunches, pulling their buttons, trying to rip off their snouts.
That's a good nose. That's the kind of nose we like to see.
Tugging them once, then tugging some more.
I should have went into plastic surgery. What we would want to do is really see if we could pull Woody's spurs off.
Hundermer, who used to sell and repair chainsaws, might not have all of Q's gadgets.
This is a sharp point tester. That's as sophisticated as it gets. Q has a much better budget than I do.
Still, he will examine more than 600 toys this year, finding 38 so dangerous, the government ordered them recalled.
I want to find a problem before the consumer does.
As any child or frustrated parent knows, the toy market is like all those Pokemon characters, endless. In the last 10 months, 18,000 new toy products put on the shelves at a cost to consumers of $3.2 billion. And the toy industry insists most will bring great joy.
The level of safety is the best it's ever been.
Despite all the pleasure, last year, toys caused 153,000 injuries, and one private watchdog group thinks the federal government should be much tougher.
Last year, 14 children died as they were playing with toys, and 8 of those deaths were due to choking.
Which is why, back at the lab,
if they fit inside of there, they already are violating the law.
The pinching and poking, the protection of children goes on.
Santa was a good guy.
Another Christmas saved. Q, eat your heart out. Bob Paul, NBC News, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
And that is Nightly News for this Friday evening. Don't forget Dateline tonight at 9, 8 Central. We also hope, of course, you'll join us for the news at 9 on MSNBC.